Okay, so now we're also recording just in case there's some people that will miss the presentation. My name is Tamora Hughes, and I am with the Greater Inglewood Community Development Corporation, and I'd like to welcome you to today's presentation entitled Proposal and Grant Writing 101. We offer this session frequently throughout the year for individuals that are interested in proposal writing or grant writing. So we're excited that you're able to join us or able to review this presentation on today. And I want to just really thank the Illinois SBDC, SBA, BACP, Department of Commerce for this opportunity to be able to do this because they are some of our funders. And also the Greater Inglewood CDC. We're doing a lot of great work in Inglewood as well as surrounding communities. So again, we want to just extend a thank you to these agencies for their support so that we're able to get this information out to you. So as I go through this presentation, you might want to take some notes. Also, it will be available on the recording. We'll send out, whoever registered, we'll send out a link to you of this recording so that you'll have it and you can access it later. We'll also put it on our YouTube channel, so we'll send information out. So as long as you've registered with us, you can get this link and get the information. Also, if you have not registered, just send us an email and we'll be able to put you into our database. You can check us out at www.gecdc.org. Also, you can send us an email at info@gecdc.org or contact us at 773-651-2400. So you can reach out to us if you have any questions, you need more information, we can direct you that way. Just an introduction of who we are. We're the Greater Inglewood Community Development Corporation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And our whole focus when we started the organization is to address the stalled economic issues that were in the Greater Inglewood community. We've now expanded our reach to other surrounding communities because of our state as well as local activities, city activities. And we believe that empowering and educating small business owners and entrepreneurs is a way in order to support the Chicagoland area and bring transformation. Also, our mission is to rebuild, rebrand, rebuild, and revitalize the Greater Inglewood community by utilizing any community assets that are already there, and then also looking at collaborations where we can work with our stakeholders as well as our residents. And we do all this activity through workforce development, through our workshops, through advisory, through business development, as well as through some real estate initiatives. So we're really excited to be in this realm, to be able to provide support to individuals so that they can grow and build as we grow and build. So we're going to jump right in and talk about today proposal and grant writing. And so one question might be, what is a proposal? Well, a proposal is a written document that you actually use to make a formal request on your behalf or as well as on your organization's behalf. Normally proposals or requests for proposals, they call them RFPs. You'll see that when those proposals go out, and the grant then must be submitted then in a certain way. And there are various ways that your person that's submitting or organization or company that's requesting a proposal, they will let you know if it's online, if it's a paper copy, so forth. So they will provide then the application form for you to fill out. Usually, normally there's a link or something on their website in order to submit then a written document, which then they call a full proposal. So initially they may ask for a letter of intent, an LOI, so that they get kind of an idea of who's applying. and if you're in the right alignment with them. If you are, then that's when they send you another email and say, okay, let's go ahead and please submit a full proposal. So if they ask or request for a full proposal, there will be requirements that you have to complete in order to complete the proposal and or the RFP. What types of proposals are there out there? There are various types of proposals, but the top five proposals would be grant proposal, business proposal, a technical proposal, a project proposal, or a sales proposal. Normally, you'll see grant proposals are the top. Those are when individuals are seeking to provide you funding or something like that for your project. A business proposal may be if you want to actually do a pitch and you want to tell people about your business. They may ask for some type of proposal for your activities. Technical proposals, many times these are inventions and things that you come up with, and that has some technical information related to it. On the invention or the product that you have. Then you have the project proposal. Many times those are laid out related to a project like a youth program or something like that, and you'll lay out in detail actually how the project is going to work. And then you have a sales proposal, and many times you'll see this if you're trying to sell or pitch something, like for example, insurance company, or if somebody has a subscription or something like that, they may actually put together a sales proposal to present to somebody in order for them to be able to decide if they're going to purchase or not. So these are the top five proposals, and we're going to really focus kind of on the first one, which is the grant proposal, or the RFP, as we've explained. So what's the reason for, writing proposal and understanding the basics of writing proposal is that many foundations or corporations, as well as government agencies, they really despair at the poor quality of proposals they receive. Many times individuals put together things that are not aligned with what they want or looking for. So sometimes those proposals are in poor quality. So individuals may want to know why they never get a proposal. It might be because you have to really check to make sure you're spending or sending the right information. Proposals that fail to communicate effectively also jeopardize then your organization or yourself to be granted, because you have to really explain in clarity what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, who's going to help you do it, and so forth. So it must be clear. It must be written clearly. You must have an outline of what you want to state, because when they read it, they're reading many of them. Over the years, I have been a peer reviewer for the government as well as for some state agencies. And what that means is they give us proposals to read. And when I read them, I have to read them and try to get some clarity on what you're doing and what you need the money for. But if it's not communicated effectively, it really makes it a challenge that when we have to score it for you to get a good score. So it's important that you communicate effectively what you want to do and how the proposal or the funding will help you get what you need done. And so it's important that communication, written communication, is effective so that individuals that don't know who you are, many times, most of the time when we as peer reviewers get your applications, if I do it on a government level, they'll normally give me somebody that's in organizations or companies that's in California or New York, because I'm in the Midwest. So this makes sure that there's no conflict of interest. I don't know who the companies are, but in order for me to really know who you are, it must be communicated in that proposal. So that's why it's important that you have effectively communicate who you are. The best place to begin with some of the fundamental observations is understanding the process, which what we're going to go through today is the process of a proposal. Some of the fundamentals is the first thing is research, and not writing is your first step. Many times people see the proposal, they read the instructions maybe, and then they want to just start writing. It's important that you actually research for first. And what are you going to research? You're researching whoever submitted the RFP. So that means you're researching whoever put that RFP in out there. And how do you research them? You go to their website. You go to their website, you also look at the RFP, the writing that they're requesting, and you read that thoroughly just to see what they're looking for, to make sure that you align with the RFP, making sure that if they're looking for projects that support seniors, but yet you have a youth program and there's no seniors involved with it, then that's kind of a minus point for you, because that means you don't hit their target audience. So it's important you do your research. It's important that you look at their websites. It's important that you take care of all that first. That should be your first step. Then also, proposal writing requires a good writer. So you want to make sure that if you're not the person that writes really well, that you include somebody on your team that can at least write the vision that's in your head and write it out very well so that it can be communicated very well. And of course, follow the directions. Whatever they're telling you to do, follow them to the key, to the T. So if they say you can only have 25 pages, and it needs to be in Times New Roman, and it needs to be double spaced, and it needs to have page numbers on it, then you should make sure that you follow the directions. I've looked at proposals, and many proposals that have gotten kicked out because it requested 25 pages and somebody did 27 pages and they went over. So that's points against you, or it easily you can get kicked out of the running because you didn't follow directions. So it's important that you follow the directions. These are just some of the fundamental things. Some tips for grant writing. And one thing, as I just recently shared with you, is that the project visionary, usually that's the person that runs the organization, that's the person that has the vision, but the project visionary then should be the author of your proposal, but you need some assistance by a grant coordinator or a grant writer or somebody who writes very well. And then also you should have a budget manager, somebody that's going to help put those numbers together in your budget. So these are key positions that you should have in place at the beginning of your proposal. And then at the end, if you're awarded, you should still have these key people in place because they can kind of guide you through the process. You never want to write a proposal in first person. So you never want to say I or me. You want to always say we, that kind of thing, so that then it has more of a global perspective and you're not just writing so that it makes it look like this is just for you. So you always want to write and not write in first person. Also, you want to select appropriate or interesting title for your proposal so that it's attractive, not too outrageous, but at least something that when you write it, it stands out a little bit because again, as individuals are reviewing your proposal, when you have appropriate title or interesting title, as they're going through 10 to 20 different proposals, having a title that kind of stands out keeps it in the back of their mind, especially when they get to a point that they got to make a decision of how they're going to score or make a decision on different things. Having a title sometimes helps with that, appropriate title. Then also, if you have more than 10 pages in your proposal, and that's if they allow that many, but if you have more than 10 pages, you should put together a table of contents for your proposal, and then you should then cite where those pages or those titles are, and make sure that it matches the proposal. Normally, with a RFP, they'll tell you the subheads. They'll tell you that they want the narrative, they want the needs of the program, they want the program narrative, they want the budget, they want the historical information. So they'll give you subheads usually in your RFP. So you want to make sure that those subheads then exist in your proposal as well. And you want to keep your paragraphs short. So you don't want to write a book. You just want to be concise. You want to be consistent, and you want to keep things short, but very clear on what your goals are and what you want to do with the project that you're presenting. You don't want to overkill too much, writing too much, using really big words and things like that. You want to keep it simple. You want to keep it short. So that's important to know. Also, you want to avoid any kind of jargon or abbreviations and things like that. You want to make sure if you do abbreviate something, the first time you spell it out, and then in parentheses, put what the abbreviation is. So the next time you put it in there, at least you've explained or given a person what that abbreviation means. You want to avoid jargon, so kind of things that we normally have in our slang conversation. You want to make sure that you're very clear on what you're stating, and that also you want to make sure that your references are not vague, that your references are clear as well. Be certain that your budget is reflective of your program in your program description. So if you request in your budget 20 computers, but you never mention anything in your program about utilizing computer, it doesn't match. So you want to make sure whatever you're requesting in your budget, you have given some sort of explanation or clarity in your program description of what you're requesting in your budget. You want to make sure you're clear about everything. You might want to have someone else after you write, if you're the writer, to also review, and so that then if they don't know what you're doing or talking about, you can have them read it, and if they kind of understand where you're going and what your proposal is stating, then that's a clear indicator that there's clarity in your proposal. And then also you need to be logical, meaning that you don't want to ask things that are very outlandish, out of this world kind of thing. You want to make sure that things are logical, that things make sense, that things are aligned to whatever you want to attempt to do, okay? So those are things that you need to know. When you're writing the proposal also, I mentioned earlier, you want to follow the guidelines exactly. Normally proposals will have guidelines, and you can find those guidelines usually on their website, or the funder will provide some outline RFP. So if you craft out and actually create a outline for yourself so that you can know what the key guidelines are, so you don't miss anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go come out of this screen, and I'm going to actually go into a few of the places that I thought you should see. And the first one is on my PowerPoint, I mentioned Walmart. So this is a Walmart page. It's if you go to walmart.org, walmart.org, and you can click on, there should be a link called How to Give, How We Give, and it gives some detail about how much Walmart gives as a philanthropical approach. So here you can see what Walmart is doing, how Walmart is giving, but then also the priority areas. So it'll tell you they're looking for creating opportunities, advancing sustainability, and strengthening communities. So that means that your proposal should align with these 3 points. Not all of them maybe, but at least these are their priority areas. So they're looking for that. They're doing particularly some things related to COVID-19 and committed to supporting communities and organizations that are responding to COVID-19. So on this website, it tells you how to apply. So it'll let you know when they publish their RFPs, remember, request for proposal, but also if you have to do a letter of inquiry or if you complete a complete application. So when you go to the website, you'll see the information, you'll read the eligibility requirements and the program guidelines. And most uh, foundations or organizations that give dollars to then organizations or 501c3s normally, they will ask for this. So this is where at Walmart you can learn more about your LOIs, you can learn more about your request for proposal, and you can learn more about open applications. So most of your websites will have information like this. So that's why it's important you go ahead and you do some homework and really find out what they're offering. The other site that I wanted to show you was actually the state of Illinois, and it's called the Illinois Bid Buy Procurement. So this is kind of a website. You can actually register for it. If you go to bidbuy.illinois.gov, you can actually navigate when you go onto the page. It'll give you the opportunity, if you've never registered your organization before, that you can register so that you could be on their mail portal. So when anytime bids come out, meaning that they're looking for a type of service. And if you provide a service, then they'll put out the bid solicitation, and then you can actually search then for various bids based upon topics and so forth. So in this particular case, I just wanted to show you an example that the Department of Human Services is actually put this invitation or this bid out. It's open, so meaning that it's open to anybody that can provide the service. In this particular case, they give you a bid number. What they're looking for is industrial shredder companies. So they're looking for people that do industrial shredding. You know, if you've ever seen those big trucks and they go to these different companies and people want to shred their documents, there are companies out there where they have a big shredder, sometimes it's on the truck, and you actually give them all your documents and they shred them. Well, in this particular case, it's the Department of Human Services that's putting this bid out, looking for companies that do this service, okay? And so they have this opportunity for anybody that can provide the service, that there is a bid out there. And with the bid, normally there's an attachment of forms that have to be completed, and so forth. So like you'll see here, form section A, it's a document. You can click on it, it will download it. It's a Word document. Once it's downloaded, it'll actually go to your Word document. And I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like, okay? So if you want to do a bid, most of the time you'll see the Word document and it'll give you the form. So this particular bid, here's the form that you have to fill out for the state of Illinois. And so where it says click here, enter text. So you enter your vendor name, your phone number, and so forth. And you utilize this Word document to complete the bid for this. So here it's an easy form for this one. Some of them aren't that easy, and some of them are not laid out this way. But in this particular case, all you have to do, if you can provide that service to be a shredder, or you have a shredding company, then you can actually go and you just type in the information. And once you complete the information, you can actually then go back and then submit your proposal. So just wanted to show you how that works. and actually show you if you're going to bid on a proposal. So two different things. The first one was Walmart, more philanthropy, more grants. So it may require that you be a 501c3 in order to apply for that. But if you're a business, then you might be able to go to the state of Illinois, bid by the Chicago also has a procurement. So you can go to the city hall, the Chicago website, and there should be a tab that says procurement, and where you can click on, and then you can see opportunities that are available through city of Chicago. So there's many, Cook County has a procurement page as well. So again, do your homework, do your research, and see where those opportunities are. So I wanted to just state, don't oversell yourself. Just give it simple, give it plain, give clarity on what you do and how you do it, and it just puts you in a better position to potentially get funded. I stated that you want to avoid any kind of jargon, and you want to avoid any kind of acronyms unless you've already explained what the acronym is. And then you do not want to insert any unnecessary verbiage. So just give them what they asked for. If they didn't ask for something, then if you don't feel that it's really pertinent, then you want to keep it out. You don't want to be too wordy. And I keep saying that because sometimes you present proposals and you're so long, it's like a book. And a reviewer, if they're looking at 10 to 20 proposals, they don't have time to read a book. So they want you to get straight to the point. They want you to be clear so they can review it and then give you the points for it. So don't be too wordy. Remember who you're writing for, the reviewer. They don't know who you are. So you want to be clear. You can't make an assumption that they know who your company is and that kind of thing. So you want to make sure that when you explain to the viewer who you are, the reviewer, who you are, they are very clear after they're done of what you do, how you do it, who you support, and so forth. Okay, so here I want to talk about just the proposal elements and really understanding the proposal elements that you will need. These, when I mention those subheads, then this is an opportunity then for some subheads that you will want to put in your proposal. So you have the executive summary, the statement of need, organizational information, your project description, and underneath that should be your goals, objectives, evaluation, timeline, and your budget, okay? Your executive summary normally kind of summarizes everything that you put into your proposal. You usually want to keep it to a page or two. Sometimes the guideline will tell you you can do 2 pages or 3. So you want to make sure you follow whatever they're telling you. So if you only supposed to have 2 pages, make sure you only have 2 pages. Do not go and do 2 pages and a half. You want to make sure that you stick to the guidelines. And then also, many people say you want to write this last because basically it's capturing everything that you stated in your proposal. It's covering the statement of need, it's covering your proposed project, it's covering any kind of funding requirements, and then your organization history. So your executive summary is very short, it's brief, but it captures everything that you've written already. Then the next subhead would be statement of need. It's basically a brief problem. There is a problem, there is a challenge, and you're addressing it. So you want to discuss any kind of relevant information. You want to include any kind of data or statistics about the problem. So that means you might have to go and do some research and get other people that have done a large kind of outline related to research. So some of the places you can go is the United States Census Bureau, especially if you're trying to get a number of people in a certain zip code or community. Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you're talking about different different positions, job positions? Is it right now with the COVID as it relates to jobs in the industry? They have information out there kind of outlining what's going on in the industry, what's going on with the various jobs. And then community data, there are a lot of different places that you can get community data, but I just put that one in there. There are a lot of real estate kind of portals utilize community data. The reason they do is because if you're thinking about moving into a community, they give you kind of an overview. They usually pull information from the Census Bureau and other places, but it gives you an overview of who lives there, how many schools are there, what's the population there, what is the employment rate there, what is the economic level there. So these are kind of places where you can go and you can pull some of that data into your statement of need problem statement, and be able to put it where you show some statistics, where there is some research-based information. So you're not just saying people are poor, but you actually have gone and you pull some stats and you reference those stats of where you got that information from. You want to avoid any circular reasoning. So, when you're saying or making a statement, we need scholarship money because we don't have scholarship money, that's secular. You want to be a little bit more detailed, and not so generic. So statement could be scholarship money is needed because students are lower socioeconomic level, first generation students in non-traditional, et cetera, et cetera. So now you're explaining a little bit of the scholarship money and who it's targeted to. So you want to make sure that your reasoning is a little, again, being specific and being a bit detailed, so that then if I'm reading this, I'm not just thinking that you're just trying to get money, but you're indicating to me who you're going to spend the money on. You might want to pull together your organization information if it's needed, uh, even if it's not required to be in the proposal. You should have just a brief statement or a bio or something like that. You don't want to put a lot of information in there, especially if they didn't request it, but you do want to give them an overview of who you are and who's on your team. So you want to place that in some kind of text format, or if they may ask or allow you to do a table or something like that. So whatever the case may be, read the guidelines. Then also basic information on the websites should also help you, as well as your website. So most of your information should be on your website. And so you want to give them your website address, because then they can go and get more detailed information from your website. Okay. People now, if you don't have a website, you need to develop one. You need to get at least a basic one that has some of your information in it, because people go straight, if they're trying to research your business and what you do and how you do it, they go straight to a website now. So you want to make sure that you have that information, or a Facebook page sometimes, or a LinkedIn page, something that gives a little bit more detail about who you are and what you do. Then the next piece into your proposal will be the project description, okay? So in the project description, you want to make sure you cover all the guideline points. So remember those summaries, subheads I mentioned. Make sure that you're covering each and everything that the guideline is requesting in those subheads. Remember, it's the reviewer that you're writing to, okay? So you want to use bullet points. You want to have those section headings or those headings, and also, if it's appropriate, to use some bold face type and phrases that kind of highlight your statement. You don't want to do the whole document, but you kind of want to put some things out there so that they can remember you, okay? when you're doing your project description, then you want to make sure you include your goals, your objectives, your methods, your evaluation, and then a timeline. So we're going to talk about that right now. Your goals. Understanding what your goals are is just basically a guide, a general statement of just some of the mileposts that you need to achieve in order to achieve the vision. So it's basically just basic statements of how you want to achieve your vision. You need a vision and you need a mission before you can set the goals. So it's important. What is your vision? What's a vision? It's a mental picture of what you want to accomplish or what you want to achieve. So it's just really just a visual. It's a big picture of where you want to go. So I've included in this presentation Oregon Farmers Market Association. This is the organization. And so this is their vision: a vibrant statewide network of farmers markets connecting Oregon's farmers and consumers. That's their vision. It's a vibrant, so which means that it's not a boring one. It's a vibrant, and it's statewide. It's a statewide network of who? Farmer markets. And what are they doing? They're connecting the Oregon farmers and the consumers. So it's a network where you will see Oregon farmers, you'll see consumers, and they're in a network together statewide to then be able to share or support each other, okay? So that's the vision of this organization. Then you need to have a mission. So a statement of mission is a general statement of how you're going to achieve the vision. So we just saw their vision. So what is their mission? Their mission is to support local agricultural and healthy communities by strengthening and promoting Oregon farmers markets. So this is their mission, to support the vision, okay? So that means they want to support local agricultural and healthy to support agricultural and healthy communities. And how they're going to do that? By strengthening who? The Oregon farmer markets, okay? So they're going to do some activities related to this mission. So the vision and the mission describes what will be achieved and how it will be achieved. So you want to make sure that you're spending some good time knowing what your vision and your mission is. Then you can move to the goals, because the general goals is how you're going to achieve the vision and the mission. They're all integrated. So they need to then be able to explain 4 things. They need, your goal should strengthen then who you are. So in this particular case, the alliances, the strength of the alliances and their collaborations are going to show a strategic position for the Oregon Farmers Market Advocate. Also, they're building a strong organization foundation. Also, they're providing educational networking opportunities for markets, member markets, and then they're going to promote farmers markets. So these are their goals. Their goal is to strengthen, build, provide, and promote, okay? So they're going to write then in this proposal, that's what you're going to see throughout the whole proposal is strengthen, build, provide, and promote. So they've created these goals, and now their goals align with their vision and their mission. So your goal should meet the following criteria. It should be suitable, meaning it fits with your vision and your mission. It should be acceptable. Does it fit with the values of your company and the employees? It should be understandable. So it should be simply stated, and it should be easy to understand. And then your goal should be flexible, meaning that you can adapt to change when change is needed. Then you have your objectives. So many times people think that the goals are the objectives, and they're not. It's 2 separate things. Objectives are not goals. Goals are just general statements. They have no measurement behind them at all. But an objective usually is tangible, specific, and achievable, meaning that there is some measurement behind it. So that then the rest of the proposal really is going to be related to your objectives, because now they can be summative and formative, which I'm going to explain in a minute. And only you need to have one or two. So you don't have to have 50 objectives. You could have one or two good objectives in your proposal, but they explain and outline how you're going to get your vision, your mission, and your goals done. So an objective is not a goal, but objective is specific, quantifiable, time-sensitive statements of what you're going to be able to achieve and when you're going to be able to achieve them. They are milestones along the path of achieving then the goals, okay? So here's our sample of our Oregon Farmers Market Advocate. The first thing is an objective is to strengthen our alliances, collaborations, and strategic position of the Oregon farmers market. Okay, so that was the goal. Remember, the goal was to strengthen our alliances, collaborations, the strategic position of the Oregon farmer market advocate. So how are you going to get that done? Now the objective. So the objective then is measurable. So the objective is to develop 2 new relationships each month with local farmers and or organic commercial realtors, okay? So now I can actually measure my goal. I'm going to strengthen my alliances. Well, how I'm going to do that? Through this objective. To develop 2 is measurable. So that I know that each month I got to at least have 2 new relationships that I didn't have before. And who are they going to be with? The local farmers or the organic commercial realtors. That's measurable. You want to have measurable objectives, because when you present to someone related to a proposal and you want to have measurable objectives, you need to be able to measure them. Okay. All right. Let me stop. There's a question. So yes, we will put this recording on YouTube. So if you have registered with us, or if you want to send your email address just in case, then we'll be able to send you the PowerPoint as well as send you the recording. Yes, okay. So then the next thing is, whoops, let's see here. So the next thing is, another goal was to build a strong organizational foundation. So that was the goal. Really general statement, but now the objective explains how you're going to get it done. Okay, so when you're writing your proposals, you should have goals that are general statements, but then you should have objectives on how the goal is going to be accomplished. In this particular case, they're going to conduct 2 professional development retreats annually for management and staff. So that's how they're going to build a stronger foundation of their organization, by having 2 professional development retreats. So hopefully you're seeing kind of how this works. The other goal was provide educational and networking opportunities for member markets. So what are they going to do as an objective? They're going to host 4 workshops or networking events. When? Monthly. And who is it available to? The public. Okay, so this is how you will want to explain your projects or your business or whatever you're doing. You need to have it specific, so that then whoever's reviewing it is not wondering how you're going to get this thing done. And then the last goal was promote farmers markets. So the objective, how are you going to promote farmers markets? They're going to create an online directory listing how many? 500 local markets. Now they could go beyond, but their goal is to have at least 500 global local markets. And then another objective is going to be highlight then one of those markets each month. So that may mean that they do a newsletter or something like that, so that they're able to highlight then these markets that they're trying to promote, but it achieves whatever their goal is. Okay, so the next sub head you want to include then in your proposal is methods. So understanding how you're going to get it done, specific activities that tie to your objectives. So you want to describe what your major activities are. You know, how will these activities meet your objectives? Why have you chosen these objectives? And do they reflect the importance of your objectives? So again, it's just making sure things are easy and aligned so that then when the reader's reviewing your proposal, they have clarity on what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, who you're going to support, and so forth. So you just want to make sure as you're writing a proposal, you have this clarity. So in this particular case, with this organization, here's the method. Remember, the goal is promote farmers markets. Remember, the objective is have 500 members by, now I'm putting a date. I'm putting a deadline on it, by August 1st. Okay. And then I have to have then an action plan. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to get 500 people by August 1st? So the action plan is the membership committee will conduct 10 membership meetings at specific locations on the following dates in June and July. So that's an action plan. In order to get these 500 people by August, they're just not going to just automatically appear. There's actually an action plan. Who's doing the action plan? The membership committee's doing it. And what are they going to do? They're going to do 10 membership meetings at where? Different locations between June and July. So this is how you put together some of your methods so that there's clarity on your goal, your objective, and how you're going to get it done. Then once you get to this place, another subhead would be the evaluation. You want to show how you're going to evaluate your success internally and externally. So a lot of funders right now, they're recommending and want to have evaluation statements in your proposal because they want to know, how did you know you met those 500 people? So many times evaluations are tied to the activity, and they can be formative and summative. So here's what formative and summative mean. Formative in this graphic states when the chef tastes the soup. That's formative, meaning you're giving your personal opinion about your product and about your service. But summative is when the guest tastes the soup, meaning that you're doing surveys and analysis where you're pulling in the public and saying, what did you think about the soup? Not what the person that created the soup can do a formative kind of evaluation and saying how they put the soup together and so forth. But a summative is when you actually do survey analysis. So it's important, even with your products, your services, or whatever you do, that you make sure you have some kind of survey analysis to get some feedback back to you so that then you're able to prove, yeah, I have 50 people that said they love this presentation. Okay, so how do you know that? Because they fill out a survey or they send an email or something like that. So those are summative analysis, okay? Then you need to have a timeline. So this helps you to set your calendar of when you're going to get everything done, but also to be able to show the reviewer when things are going to get done. So you want to divide it by appropriate sections. You want to include your major goals. Remember those goals we talked about? You want to include those. And also you want to include then the whole grant period whenever they're funding you. So this kind of like is what a timeline kind of looks like. There's plenty of them out there. This was just a really generic one that I created. But if I'm trying to go after funding, I'm giving them a timeline for the whole year of what I'm going to do on a quarterly basis, maybe. So they know I'm going to be doing staffing, workshop development, printing materials, and then also doing the evaluation. So now they are able to see what I'm doing at any particular month, at any particular time, looking at my activities based upon what I put in my proposal, okay? So you do need to have some kind of timeline so that then the funder also will know how you're spending the money or how you're getting the project done, okay? Then the biggest thing, and this is so big because many people wait to the last minute to do a budget, and then is the deadline, they only got 5 minutes left, and now they're trying to put these numbers together. You always want to consistently work on the budget before you start working on a proposal, so that then you'll have that budget ready when you get ready to submit. The budget basically is related to everything else that you've written. And the budget then outlines your personnel, your travel, your materials, supplies, your equipment, and then your facility and administrative, which they also call indirect costs, okay? So your personnel, this is all the people, full-time, part-time people that are working with you. Your full-time people get fringe benefits. The rate may be different, so you always have to check your rate, and you go to IRS to see your rate. There's a publication that normally tells you about your rate, but if you don't know, just contact a tax consultant in order to get that done. Then also equipment, needing to know that equipment is really stated as $5,000 or more. So if you had a computer, you wouldn't put that under equipment. It needs to be $5,000 or more, and it has to have a lifespan of 2 or more years, okay? So if you have a computer or you want to get a computer included in your budget, it goes under supplies, okay? Then you have other direct costs. That means you have a consultant, any kind of professional services, you have an accountant, all that. Those are considered people that fall underneath your service. They are not staff, they're not salaried, but they are consultants or professional service providers. You will put them under services. Then you have your printing, your copying, your materials, supplies, that computer I talked about, all would go under other direct costs or service costs, okay? So these are the categories that you want to include into your project when you're outlining the numbers. Each then budget item should have a narrative that goes with it. And it's usually a 1 or 2 liner narrative, just basically saying what this is for. So a narrative for salary would include, then if you're going to hire 2 people, they have subcategories. So one's your executive director, the other one's your administrative assistant. In the budget narrative, you would have executive director at $50,000. And then how did you get to 50? So then you would say the dollar amount times 12 for the whole year would give me the 50. Okay, so that's what a narrative is, that you break it down and do the calculation so that then they know how you came up with the 50. Okay, and so you would do that for each line item. If you need 2 computers, then you would indicate that you want 2 Hewlett-Packard HP computers at $800 a piece, times 2 is $1,600. So that would be the narrative. You would write that out specifically, and you would address that in your narrative as it aligns with what you've stated in your budget, okay? If there's any cost sharing or matching costs, then you will indicate what the cost sharing, meaning that you have to put some money in there, or matching costs, somebody else is going to match whatever you're putting in. If there's $1,000 in the budget, another organization will match 1,000. Or if you're cost sharing, meaning that $1,000, but they want you to match 100%, meaning that you got to put $1,000 in it. So it's based upon the proposal and the guidelines that will really determine that. But if it's allowable, the match could be in kind. In kind basically just meaning that if you were to pay a person to do it, this is how much it would cost, and you can use that as in kind. So it's actually not literal dollars, but the in-kind would include the salary and the fringe benefits or the supplies. You know, if you have a facility and they're not charging you to pay rent, you could possibly use that as an in-kind, because normally rent would be $1,800, but because you're not paying the 18, it's an in-kind cost. You can still put that in your proposal as in-kind at $1,800 times 12. Okay, so there's various ways that you can actually do cost sharing as well as matching costs. All right. Then indirect costs, that's your facilities and administrative. Normally you'll see some that says F&A. So this is usually, most of the time you'll see it in grant requests, but in order to use an F&A, you have to be able to have a letter indicating that you can use F&A. Normally this is to cover wear and tear, it's to cover indirect costs, could cover maintenance and things like that. But in order to get a rate, meaning that then it allows you 10% or 20% to do indirect costs. So then these are some of the organizations that actually give letters. So you can get a letter and the letter will say through the U.S. Department of Education that this is an F&A letter, basically stating that when I write a proposal, they'll give you a letter, and then the letter may say that you can use 20% indirect cost, meaning that whatever the cost is, you can put 20% of whatever that indirect cost is. Maybe it's maintenance or something like that. 20% of that is allowed to add into your budget with indirect costs. Okay. So that's pretty much it as far as the presentation. I will open the line if you actually want to have any comments or any questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And so if you have any comments or questions, you can open up your mic if you'd like to ask the questions for today. And this is being recorded. So we will actually have send you, if you registered through Zoom, as well as if you registered through the state of Illinois portal, then we have your email address. We can email this proposal to you, or you can always send us a email to info@gcdc.org, and we'll send this link so that you can get on the YouTube as well as get the recording of this and the PowerPoint. Okay, any questions before we get off the line?
Yes, I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said that we need to have a website. Do you mean like a personal website, or can it just be the company website?
Just a company website, especially if you're doing a proposal. You want to be able to kind of give them an idea so that you don't have to put it all in the proposal. So it could be a basic one-pager. Nowadays people have just a one-page website. It's like a streaming website where everything is on one page. So, and I know Google and a couple of other places, you can get it for free. You can build it yourself. You don't want to spend a lot of money until you're really ready to actually put it in a formal proposal. A formal website, but you should have something so that if somebody wants to review your company, they have something to reference.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay. All right, well, great. I really appreciate you guys getting online and looking and, hearing more about the presentation on today related to grant writing. Again, it's Grant Writing 101. Sometimes we offer a more extensive training where we actually help in writing and helping you develop your proposal. So we may do one of those before the end of the year. But of course, if you have any questions, you can always give us a call at 773-651-2400 or send us an email at info@gcdc.org if you'd like to speak to one of our advisors and we can sit down with you one-on-one. Also, if you have proposals and things like that, and you would like for us to review them before you submit them, you can reach out to us, shoot us an email so that we review them. So get it to us soon so that then you don't miss your deadline, but get us the information at least within 48 hours so that we can review and comment back to you about some of the thoughts that we have. So, okay. All right. Thank you so much. This has been Tamora Hughes with the Greater Inglewood CDC and the Illinois Small Business Development Center at Inglewood. We really appreciate you. You can go to our website to get more information about us and the other upcoming workshops that will be happening in the month of October. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful afternoon.